Welcome, seeker of truth. As the world spins faster and louder, let me ask you something simple but life-changing. When was the last time you truly focused on yourself? Not your job, your image, or others' expectations, but the silent, sacred self within you. This isn't just another motivational message. This is a wake-up call for your soul. The year 2025 isn't here to rush you. It's here to remind you that you matter. Not just what you do, not just how others see you, but you, the person behind the doing, the dreaming, and the exhaustion. You may feel burned out, numb, like you're chasing a life that doesn't even feel like your own anymore. But that ends today. This year, you're not going to chase the world. You're going to come home to yourself. Through timeless Buddhist wisdom, we will walk the path of inner clarity, detachment, and healing. Because the greatest act of courage in today's world is to sit still and finally listen to your own soul. This isn't just a video. It's a reclamation of your energy, your focus, your life. So take a deep breath. Feel it. Now let's begin. Gubid, Lesson 1. Self-awareness is the root of all growth. Buddhism teaches us something beautifully radical. What you are aware of, you can transform. What you deny controls you. In 2025, we don't start with resolutions. We start with revelations. And the first one is this: you can't grow if you don't know who you are. Self-awareness is not a luxury, it's survival. Yet most of us are living as strangers to ourselves. We scroll, we react, we hustle. But ask someone, why do you get angry so easily? Or, why do you keep repeating the same patterns in love? Most won't know. We've become experts at looking outward and amateurs at looking inward. So here's the truth. You can't fix what you haven't faced. You can't grow past the wounds you keep pretending don't exist. In Buddhist psychology, mindfulness, the practice of simply observing without judgment. Think of it like standing in front of a mirror. You don't criticize the reflection. You study it. You see it. That's the first step to true freedom. A real story. There was once a young woman named Ilara. On the outside, she was successful, good career, good friends, perfect smile. But every night, she cried herself to sleep. One day, she finally sat alone in silence. No phone, no music, just breath. And in that stillness, she heard a voice within her whisper. You've spent your whole life trying to be someone for everyone, but you've never been anyone for yourself. That moment broke her and remade her. She began journaling every morning, asking herself, what am I really feeling today? What am I running from? What do I need that I keep asking others to give me? That's when her healing began. Not with therapy, not with books, but with presence. Your daily practice. Here's how you can begin. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Not what should you feel, not what others expect, just what is. Write it down. Name it. Own it. Because, as the Buddha taught, with awareness, you are the master. Without it, you are the slave. 2025 will not change your life, but your self-awareness will. It will stop you from reacting to old patterns. It will help you forgive the wounds you've buried. It will light the way forward when everything else feels dark. This year, let one truth guide you. The more I understand myself, the less power the world has over me. Let us begin the year not by fixing the surface, but by awakening the root. Lesson 2. Define your why. Without it, you wander. In Buddhist thought, everything begins with intention. Why you act matters more than what you do. And yet, most people live like leaves in the wind, floating from one obligation to another, chasing goals they never chose, stuck in a story they didn't write. This year, ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Whose life am I living? A monk once said, when you forget your why, you become a machine. When you remember it, you become a light. Your why is not your job, your title, or your income. It's the quiet truth inside your chest, the feeling you get when you help, when you create, when you love. Real story. The teacher who remembered her why. Mira was an accountant. Good salary, good routine, dead spirit. She remembered being a child who wanted to teach underprivileged kids, but life got serious. So she forgot. One day, after a long week of meaningless meetings, she broke down. Not from stress, from emptiness. She took a year off, volunteered at a school in Nepal, and for the first time in 15 years, she said, I felt alive. Her why wasn't about escape. It was about alignment. Huge practice. Write down 3 things that matter most to your heart. Next to each, ask, am I living in alignment with this today? If not, don't panic. Realignment starts with recognition. Your purpose is not something you find. It's something you remember. And once you reconnect with it, the world may still be chaotic, but you won't be. Lesson 3. Detach from external validation. Be free. Modern life is loud with applause, but none of it lasts. We chase likes. We crave compliments. We perform versions of ourselves we no longer recognize. And slowly, silently, we disconnect from who we really are. But the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. When you constantly seek approval, you give others control of your happiness. It's exhausting and empty. Real story. The monk and the gift. One day, a villager insulted a monk relentlessly. The monk smiled and said, if someone offers you a gift and you don't accept it, to whom does it belong? The same is true with praise or criticism. You don't have to own what others throw at you. Your self-worth is not a consensus. Huge practice. For one day, live without seeking feedback. Don't check likes. Don't ask, was that good? Just be. Let your value be felt, not proven. The moment you no longer need approval is the moment you become powerful. Because true confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It just is. Lesson 4. Focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. In Buddhism, one of the deepest teachings is this. Suffering comes not from what happens, but from our refusal to accept it. So many of us try to micromanage life clenching to outcomes, begging people to change, gripping the future like it's clay we can mold. But the harder you cling, the more you suffer. Imagine this. You're in a small boat on a giant sea. The winds change, the currents pull. You can scream at the sky, or you can adjust your sail. Peace doesn't come from controlling the weather. It comes from mastering your response. Huge practice. When something outside your control triggers you, pause. Ask, what part of this is mine to carry? What part must I release? Then breathe. Let it go. Real-world example. Lena didn't get the promotion she was promised. She was devastated. But instead of spiraling, she took the night offsat with her feelings and woke up the next day to polish her resume for a dream company she'd forgotten about. A year later, She was leading her own team, not someone else's. Because letting go didn't break her. It freed her. You cannot control the world, but you can control your focus, your energy, and your next step. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Lesson 5. Align your actions with your values, or lose yourself trying. There's a quiet tension many people live with doing things they don't believe in to chase results they don't care about. Buddhism calls this dukkha, not just suffering, but the friction of living out of alignment. You may look successful, you may seem productive, but inside, something feels off, because deep down you know, this is not me. The tale of two roads. Imagine two paths. One is smooth and crowded, paved with prestige and applause. The other is rough, unmarked, but it feels like home. Most people choose the first, but wisdom begins when you pause and ask, does this reflect who I am? Practice. Write down your 3 core values. Maybe it's truth, compassion, or creativity. For each, list one daily action that honors it. Start small, one decision at a time. Real story. Tom was a lawyer with a 6-figure salary, but he used to wake up with dread, not joy. One morning, after helping a client escape a contract he knew was morally wrong, he realized, I'm winning battles I don't believe in. He left the firm. He joined a non-profit helping immigrants understand their rights. He said, I make less money now, but I sleep better. Success without integrity is a recipe for burnout. But when your actions reflect your values, you walk lighter, because you are no longer betraying yourself. Lesson 6. Master focus. Silence is your superpower. In the age of endless notifications, the greatest skill is presence. Every app wants your attention. Every screen is a magnet. And your mind? It's on a leash. But Buddhist philosophy teaches us this. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. And what you focus on becomes your life. And imagine this. A candle in a still room glows clearly. But in a storm, its flame flickers and dies. Your attention is that flame. When scattered, you live in distraction. When steady, you live in clarity. Practice. Each morning, pick 3 priorities only. Focus on them. Block time. Say no to the rest. Practice single tasking. One thing, full presence. Whether it's brushing your teeth or writing an email, be there. Real story. A young monk once asked his master how to become enlightened. The master handed him tea and said, "Drink your tea." The student asked again. The master smiled. "Drink your tea." Only later did the student realize he was never present. The path was not found in asking. It was found in doing the one thing fully. Focus is not just about productivity. It's about dignity. When you honor your time, your mind, and your energy, you become unshakable. Lesson 7. Build emotional resilience. Let the storm come and stay still. Life will test you. People will leave. Plans will fall apart. You'll have days where your heart feels heavier than your body. But Buddhism doesn't teach us to avoid pain. It teaches us to hold sit with it, and transform it. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. The still lake metaphor. Imagine a lake. When the wind blows, ripples form. But deep beneath the surface, the water is still. That's resilience. It's not pretending everything's fine. It's knowing that you'll be okay, even when it's not. Practice. When you're triggered, don't react. Pause. Name the emotion: anger, shame, grief. Observe it. Breathe through it. Ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Treat it like a guest, not an invader. Real story. Maria lost her partner suddenly. She didn't run from her grief. Each night, she lit a candle, wrote to him in a journal, and cried without shame. Months later, she said, I didn't heal because I moved on. I healed because I let it move through me. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you never break. It means when you do, you know how to come back together stronger. Because storms don't last, but the self you build in silence, that one stays. Lesson 8. Embrace a growth mindset. You are meant to evolve. We've been taught to fear failure, to avoid mistakes like they're signs of weakness. But Buddhism says something different. Just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. In other words, growth is your nature, but it begins where perfection ends. What's a growth mindset? It's the belief that every challenge is a lesson. That failure is not the end, it's a beginning. It's choosing curiosity over self-criticism. Practice. At the end of each day, write down one mistake you made, one thing you learned, one step forward you can take tomorrow. Let your journal become your mirror, not of shame, but of transformation. Real story. Lena, a 42-year-old artist, spent 15 years stuck in the same job, painting what others wanted. One day, she decided to submit a piece from her Sula painting of her childhood pain. It was rejected, but she kept painting. And after 10 more rejections, her piece went viral. She said, "It wasn't talent that saved me. It was refusing to give up on my truth. Perfectionism keeps you small. Growth frees you." And as Buddhist wisdom reminds us, with our thoughts we make the world. So think like a gardener. Plant, water, fail, learn, bloom. Goad. Lesson 9. Let go or be dragged. Attachment is the root of suffering. That's not just a quote. It's a wake-up call. We suffer not because things change, but because we don't want them to. We cling to people, to identities, to expectations, and when life shifts us, it always does, we break. But Buddhism teaches, you only lose what you cling to. The rope metaphor. Picture holding a rope tightly as someone pulls the other end. The harder you grip, the more it burns. Letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Practice. Ask yourself, what am I still holding that's hurting me? A relationship? A version of yourself no longer fits? Then ask, who would I be without this burden? Write the answers down. Then breathe. Let go. Real story. Aaron spent 7 years waiting for an apology that never came. Every day he replayed the betrayal, until one morning, during a silent retreat, he whispered, "I forgive you, not for you, but for me." And that day, he felt light for the first time in years. Letting go isn't giving up. It's reclaiming yourself from what no longer serves you. Breathe. Release. Begin again. Lesson 10. Lead with authenticity. You are the ripple. We think we inspire others through speeches or titles. But Buddhism teaches a more silent truth. Be like a tree. Stay grounded, yet give shade. In other words, your life is your loudest message. The ripple metaphor. When you live with truth, your presence becomes a ripple. It calms others. It uplifts them. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Practice. Instead of asking, What should I do today? Ask, what would someone living their truth do? Let every action, no matter how small, reflect your values. Real story. Jared used to run a startup based on trends, trying to impress investors. He was always stressed, always faking certainty. Then, after reading Buddhist teachings on Dharma, right path, he decided to pivot. He created a company around slow living and conscious products. Revenue dropped, but peace returned. He said, "I finally built something I believe in. That's success." People may not remember what you said, but they will feel what you embodied. Live in alignment. Lead by example. Be the mirror that shows others their truth. Focus on yourself. Heal the world. You've been taught that self-focus is selfish. But what if the opposite is true? You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. The Buddha. When you grow, others rise with you. When you heal, your presence becomes medicine. When you live in truth, you give permission for others to do the same. The ripple truth. Think of your soul as a stone dropped into still water. Each act of self-awareness, each moment of compassion, sends out a ripple. You don't need to change the world. You only need to change the way you show up in it. The most loving thing you can do for others is to become whole. Practice. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do I bring into a room? Am I a mirror of peace or a vessel of pressure? Your growth isn't a private matter. It's your legacy. Real story. Maya was a single mother who battled anxiety for years. She thought healing was selfish, that she had to give everything to others. Until she realized, when I took time for my self-yoga, silence, journaling, my son became calmer. I didn't even teach him, he just followed. And that's the truth. Your example is your loudest teaching. Final recap, the journey back to you. In this video, we didn't just talk about a better year. We talked about a better you, one that already exists beneath the noise, the stress, the expectations. Let's revisit the path. Know yourself deeply. Self-awareness is the lamp in darkness. Define your why. Purpose is your compass. Detach from validation. Peace comes from within. Control what you can. Your power is in your response. Align actions with values. Integrity is your soul's armor. Master your focus. What you give attention to, you give life to. Build emotional resilience. Strength is stillness in the storm. Embrace growth. You are meant to evolve. Let go. Freedom is found in surrender. Lead with authenticity. You are the ripple. Your self-focus is sacred. It uplifts all. Your time is now. The year 2025 isn't just another chapter. It's your soul tapping your shoulder, saying, stop chasing, start becoming. So now I ask you, what are you going to do with this one beautiful sacred year? Will you continue living by others' expectations? Or will you turn inward and finally live by your truth? If this message touched your heart, like the video, let it ripple. Comment below. This year, I choose myself because. Subscribe to the Enlightened Mind so we can walk this path together. And share this with one soul who needs to hear it today. Because someone out there is waiting for a moment of stillness, for a message that says, you're not broken, you're awakening. Let's begin again.